Hi students, I said that I would do a review on the modifier homework. Just a lot of discrepancies here, so hopefully I can clear a few things up. Let's go ahead. I'm not going to go through each one. I'm going to go through the ones that I felt was the majority of the class got incorrect. So I'm going to start with number 2. The correct answer for number 2 should be 76, which is a repeat procedure or service by the same physician or other qualified health professional. Okay, so with this, a patient went under a bronchoscopy November 1st. On November 15th, the patient underwent a repeat because a biopsy from the procedure on November 1st was too small. So both procedures were performed by Dr. Campbell. So being said with that, it's a repeat procedure and it's by the same physician. Number 3, this one here, a lot of you had 27, modifier 27. The more I evaluated that, the more I'm okay with that. So let's go ahead. I need to go with this one because this is an outpatient. So let's go ahead and go to the outpatient modifiers. All right. So here we have multiple outpatient hospital E&M encounters on the same day. For hospital outpatient reporting, the only thing I did okay, can't say these all would possibly be E&M because we did have the cast come off. That would be a part of a global procedure. So that's why I am going to say that, yeah, if you had 27, that would be okay. Ideally, they want 59 distinct procedure services. What this is, it may be necessary to indicate that a procedure service was distinct or independent from other non-E&M services performed on the same day. Hi students, I said I would give you a video on modifiers. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go through assignment 8.5, CPT modifiers. I'm not going to go through every one. I'm going to pick and choose the ones it seemed like the majority of students had issues with. If there's one that I don't go through that you would like me to go through, please send me an email. I'm going to start off here with number 2. Few of you had this one incorrect, but let's go and look at this. A patient underwent a bronchoscopy with biopsy on November 1st. Then on November 15th, they came and had a repeat because a biopsy sample from the procedure on November 1st was too small for a pathological analysis. Both procedures were performed by Dr. Campbell. So what are you going to code for that repeat one? Well, if you look at modifier 76, it's repeat procedure or service by the same physician or other qualified healthcare professional. It may be necessary to indicate that the procedure was repeated. So this one here, I don't think is real tricky. It's not 77, it's not by somebody 8. It's not an unplanned return to the operating room, and it's not an unrelated procedure. So this one's pretty much 76. Now, number 3. This one's a little bit tricky. So we have a lot going on here. So one thing we do have going on here, everything's outpatient. Okay, we have an annual OB exam. They did a PAP. They did an annual eye exam, prescription check, and then the cast removal from the orthopedics clinic. Let's talk about that orthopedics cast removal. That is going to be part of the global. So really, they're not going to charge for that. So the reason the answer on this one is D. So let's go ahead and look at that. Distinct procedural services. Under circumstances, it may be necessary to indicate that a procedure service was distinct or independent from other E&M services performed on the same day. So modifier 59 is used to identify procedures or services other than E&M services that are not reported together. Okay, here's the deal. This is procedural service. This is my issue. I don't think this answer is correct because here it's procedural service. This patient here, these were a lot of different areas. Okay, so let's go ahead here and look, because here it says 59 should not be put on an E&M. Okay, that's why I'm having issues with it. So let's go ahead and check out 27. And we're going to have two multiple hospital outpatient E&M counters on the same day. This is what I would go with if I highlighted. I think the book's wrong. As you see, when I corrected these, you got 4 before I took any off. So this was included. So yes, I would go definitely with 27 here. Number 6, patient presents to the ER after having fallen off his bike, sustained multiple contaminated wounds. All these wounds require extensive cleaning before they sutured up. The wounds vary in length. Okay, so we have our 2 repair codes. So what we're going to do here, we are going to use modifier 22. Let me get back to, this is increased procedural services. A lot of times when it's more technical, more difficult, sometimes the doctor wants to just state, hey, we put a little extra time in here. We have an extensive wounds, and possibly what's going to happen, they may give the physician more money if the physician asks for it. Not all the time, but this could be a possibility. All right, so number 6 was B. Number 9, actually not number 9, let's go to number 8. With this patient on the morning, presents to the emergency department vomiting blood. Okay, with that, we have, again, they're using 59. Okay, so we have a lot going on here. They did, we're outpatient again. They have no bleeding, but at 1 p.m. while in recovery, the patient noted to have melena. The same physician who performed that EGD for about 10:30 then performed the colonoscopy at 2 p.m. Which modifier should be added to the colonoscopy? Okay, so what we're going to look here, it's not A, it's not multiple procedures. That has to be done at the same time. It is not 58, which is stage procedure. They did not know that they were going to do this. It is not 76, which is, let's get back to 76. Repeat procedure serviced by the same physician. Okay, they're 2 different things. So process of elimination, it's going to take us to 59. Okay, so number 9 here. With this one here, it should be B, stage procedure. Okay, they knew at this time that they're going to remove nevus from the forearm and only part of it. And now they return for a scheduled second graft. Okay, so that's a stage procedure saying, hey, taking off part, we know in a little bit we're going to take off the other part. So that's a 58. All right, let's go to number 12. An ambulatory surgery center modifier number. This one here is D, multiple procedures. Okay, we do not use that. If they do multiple procedures in an ambulatory setting, this is something that we use. It's going to kick into our APCs. So let's go up to that. It states it here, and if you look under the ambulatory outpatient, you're not going to see it. 13. Here we have 13 is C, okay, which is 73. So let's just go ahead and look at that modifier. And once again, I need to go back, get to our modifiers, I should say down below. Okay, 73. Discontinued outpatient hospital ambulatory surgery prior to the administration of anesthesia. So here they're coming in for an arthroscopy of the knee. But at this point, the blood pressure, again, in both arms, they did an antihypertensive medication. After the medication, the blood pressure was 165/80. Patient has no history of hypertension. So at this time, they discharge them with medication, and then what they're doing is scheduling with an internist. Okay, so what they're going to do, they just discontinue because they still can charge for part of that procedure. They're not going to get the full amount, but they can go ahead and charge for that arthroscopy. Okay, 16 is the other one here. This one's pretty self-explanatory. 16 is D, which is 82. With 82, there was not a resident surgeon available, so both qualified surgeons had to come in. So that's why we're using 82. So read through that one. I think that will make sense. Number 17, we have a fever and a cough. On exam, the child had an impacted earwax. Okay, they did irrigation on both of them. They did inflammation in the patient's left ear. On review, the E&M, the coder signs to ensure correct patient. Code 6921 should have a modifier. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this. They did an E&D in both ears. Okay, so it's bilateral, and then it's going to be in addition to the E&M service. Okay, number 18, this one here should be B. Physician performed a ureteral lithotomy of the left ureter and the right ureter. Not, again, this is a 50, not a 22. Possibly you wouldn't use a left and right. If you add that on with the 50, you're just kind of overcoding. But you want the 50 so you get proper reimbursement, because the first one is going to be 100%. The second one's going to be at 50%. So keep that in mind. The last one, I think everybody got this one wrong. It should be B. I'm not sure what a lot of you put for that, but it's that darn 59 modifier again. Modifier should not be to an E&M service. They did a colonoscopy. The surgeon removed the polyp with a snare. Colonoscopy instruments were removed. Then they did an EGD. Okay, what happens here? You want to get paid for both of these at full. They are two distinct different procedures. You're going in through, the rectum for the colonoscopy, and then the EGD, you're going through the throat esophagus. Okay, so again, two different areas. It's not like we're in the same part. I know we're both, we're in the digestive, but again, two different areas of the body. So this why you want to get paid the full price for each service. So keep that in mind. Hopefully this lecture helped. Please, if anybody has any questions, send me an email.